प्रियमूर्तये श्रीमते भक्तिवल्लभतीर्थगोस्वामी नामिने कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनम् कलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरम् सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधवदेवपदम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 9th chapter. We heard that Bharat, who was a king, became a deer due to his attachment to a baby deer. And then, after he gave up his body as a deer, he appeared as a son of a Brahmana who was very noble, had all the Brahminical qualities, and who used to study the scriptures, was charitable, was merciful. All the qualities of the Brahmanas were present in him. From his elder wife, he begot 9 children, and from the younger, he had 1 daughter and 1 son. And the expert, those who are expert in scriptures, those who are knowers of past, present, and future, the seers, they tell that this son of the second wife is Bharat, who was a deer in the past life. So, Bharat, because of his remembrance of the past 2 births, right from his birth, he was totally indifferent to any of the material activities. He would not mix with others. He would not be interested in learning any material, activities or education. He always behaved like a dumb, deaf, foolish person. And his father, seeing him to be very, very dependent, and considering that he is the one who has to give knowledge, if father and mother, they don't imbibe the knowledge or imbibe any good etiquettes and principles in the child, he will not learn. And particularly this child is very, very dependent because his mind is not so developed. Thinking like this, his father would always teach him about cleansing, about ablutions, about taking bath, and the performance of various activities. All of these things he would teach to Bharat. But Bharat would not be interested. He was never interested in, understanding, any of these, what should be done first, what should be done later. He was totally indifferent because his mind was constantly absorbed in Shravana, Kirtana, and Smarana of the Supreme Lord. We are doing all these material duties, whatever, or the scriptural duties, in order to be totally freed from the body. Jada Bharat was already freed from his body. Therefore, his activities were not on the bodily platform, they were on the spiritual platform totally. So, he was totally indifferent to all the bodily duties, indifferent to anything that is to be learned in connection with the body. In connection with the body also we need to learn few things, isn't it? And we are learning, we are studying for the body only. We are going to school, we are going to college, we are earning for what? Not for Atma. It is not for the Atma. Atma does not require any of these learnings or money. It is totally material. Atma requires Paramatma. Atma does not require, Anatma. Guru Maharaj used to say this. Atma does not require Anatma. Anatma means that which is not Atma. Atma does not require that. So here, King Bharat was the Jada Bharat, now as a Brahmana. He is well established in constant remembrance and speaking and hearing the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. He was totally indifferent, and in fact, he was doing the things just the opposite way. His father would say, take bath, do the morning whatever ablutions, and then take bath, and then he would do just the opposite. He would first take bath, and then after that he would finish his morning duties. His father thought that later I need to educate him in the scriptures, but before that, let me, instruct him about Pranava and Vyahriti, the fundamental things like meditation, the Pranava, Omkara. Let me instruct him about this, and later, after 4 months, in the rainy season, I will start teaching him about the Vedas and other scriptures. So thinking like this, he was giving instructions to Bharat, but Bharat was not learning any of these things properly. Sri Vishnachakati Thakur writes in the commentary, Sach kintu Bharat pitar shikha daner ekagratar nivrittir nimitto sei shaucha achamanadi असध्री चीनम इव विपरीतेर न्याय जेनो अर्थात मूत्र मल त्यागेर पूर्वे आचमन ओ मृत्तिकादिर द्वारा शौचकादि करुतेन किंतु परे नहीं. So Bharat, in order to make his father, understand that he is not interested in learning all these things, he would do just the opposite of what his father said. He told, my dear son, you have to pass stool, you have to pass urine, you have to take bath after that, and you have to do your Gayatri, whatever. And he would do just the opposite. He would take bath first, he would wash his hands with mud, and after that he would pass stool. So it is just to tell to his father that he is not interested in him, or rather to make his father, give up his desire to give any further instructions. He acted so dumb, dull, and foolish. এখানে ইবা শব্দ প্রয়োগ করায় বস্তুতঃ তাহাও ভারতের পক্ষে সমীচীনী. Here Krishna Chakravarti Thakur says Iva is used. Iva here indicates that this is very much befitting, Bharat. Befitting means that taking, bath before and doing these things is very much befitting him. Why? Because he is not attached to any of the bodily duties. In fact, even if he doesn't do that also, it doesn't really, affect him, because he is befitting means because he is a devotee. It is, very much understandable that he is indifferent to all his material duties and to the bodily duties. It's very much understandable. Those who are materialists, they want to be very pakka, they want to be very proper in all their activities and duties. They don't want to be, you know, called themselves as fools or rascals or idiots or, ignorant. Even ignorant person wants to present himself as a greatly learned person, so as that, people don't understand him to be a fool. This is the ordinary tendency. But here, even though Bharat was fixed in Atma, he is greatly learned, he is presenting himself as a fool. उपाकरण वेद ग्रहणादिर परे श्रावणादि मासे वेद अध्ययन कराइबो संप्रति जड़ এই পুত্রকে গায়ত্রী শিক্ষা প্রদান করি এইরূপ বিচার পূর্বক পিতা চৈত্র প্রভৃতি 4 মাসেও নিয়মিত ভাবে গায়ত্রীর পাদত্রয় পাঠ করাইয়াও তাহার সম্পূর্ণ রূপে ধারণ করাইতে অসমর্থ হইলেন। So his father thought that now this boy is dull. He cannot understand if I teach him the scriptural knowledge. If I start instructing about the Vedas, he will not be able to understand those. Therefore, let me teach him with the elementary things for 4 months. Pranava, all these things, let me give instructions in the spring and the summer season, and after summer, when the rainy season begins, I shall instruct him about the scriptures. Right now he is not in a position to understand. Thinking like this, his father attempted a lot, he endeavored a lot, he struggled a lot to teach him these basic and the elementary things, but he didn't become successful, even to make him study the fundamental things. Asama Veda Rupam यथायथ रूपे अभ्यास कराइते समर्थ होइलेना. So he couldn't, ultimately failed to, teach him anything, to teach Bharat anything. एवं स्वतनुज आत्मन्यानुराग रागावेशित चित्तः शौचाध्यायन व्रत नियम गुर्वनल शुश्रूषण द्यौप कुर्वाणक कर्माण्यनभियुक्तानपि समनुशिष्टेन भाव्यमित्य सदाग्रहः पुत्रं मनुषासस्य स्वयं तावदन अधिगत मनोरथः कालेन प्रमत्तेन स्वयं गृह एव प्रमत्त उपसंहृतः. ए रूपे वही ब्राह्मण निजपुत्र भरत के आत्मस्वरूप ज्ञान कराते स्नेहातिशय निबंधन ताहार चित्त पुत्री अभिनिविष्ट छिलो. Just like a mother and father, when they have a child who is overly dependent or who is not able to understand, they get overly attached. They think overly about the welfare of that particular child. In a similar manner, his father also, in order to establish him in the knowledge of the self, he was a Brahmana, so he was also wanting to give the knowledge of the self, for which one has to study the Vedas. One has to understand the body, one has to understand the 3 modes of material nature, one has to understand karma, one has to understand Paramatma, and one has to understand the knowledge, the relationship among all these things, about time. All these things are described in the Vedas. So when one is educated properly, then he will be, situated in the Atma Jnana, knowledge of the self. So his father was wanting to give this scriptural knowledge, Vedic knowledge, to make him established in the self. Because of his over affection, extra affection to this particular child, he was attached to him. His mind was constantly thinking about the welfare of the child. How can my child be educated? How can I bring him to a platform of being, knowledgeable? आर पुत्र के सुशिक्षित करा अवश्य कर्तव्य. এই असदाग्रहे व्यग्र होय्या पुत्रेर अनिच्छा सत्यो नियमित काल पर्यंत ब्रह्मचर्य व्रत चारीर शौच अध्ययन व्रत नियम एवं गुरु ओ अग्नि शुश्रूषादि कृत्य समूह पुत्र भरत के शिक्षा प्रदान कराइबार यत्न करिलेन. This is my duty to educate my child. It is essential and my duty. Thinking like this, he was giving him instructions up to brahmacharya. Up to brahmacharya here indicates that after he performs the brahmacharya duties properly, he will now be eligible to become a householder. If he becomes a good householder, then he will have progeny, and then it will, he will beget children, and then the dynasty will continue. So the father and the mother usually they want to make the son or daughter, fit so that they get married and they can continue their life. Here, like any other father, this Brahman also thought, because we are Brahmanas, because we are worshippers of God, he was you know wanting him, or he was repeatedly trying to teach him the shaucha, the what do you call cleansing or process of cleansing oneself, and vrata, observance of various penances and vows, etc., and what are the duties to perform these vows, and adhyayana, and so that he will have self study, he will be able to do self study, niyama, rules and regulations, and guru and agni shushusha, serving guru, and the fire means performing fire sacrifices. So all these things are the duties of a brahmana, or a person who has to get the atma jnana knowledge. So the father repeatedly tried to teach him all these subjects, learned person. किंतु ताहा समस्त आग्रही विफल होइले. But all his endeavors became futile, useless. How much ever he endeavored to teach him, all of them became useless. পুত্র পণ্ডিত হইবে বলিয়া তিনি হৃদয়ে যে আশা পোষণ করিতেছিলেন তাহা পূর্ণ হইল না. He thought that after studying all these things, my son will become a learned man, pandit, scholar. But his hope became, he couldn't fulfill his hope. That became, shattered. His hope that my son will become a learned scholar, that got shattered. এইরূপে তিনি গৃহে আসক্ত হইয়া আত্মবিস্মৃতি হইলেন. In this manner, he became totally attached to, Bharat, and he forgot about his own self. Forgetting about oneself means the death is coming. What I am supposed to do for myself, that is becoming forgetful of the self. Doing for the expansion of the body. Son is an expansion of the body. Property is an expansion of the body. Wife is an extension of the body. So, one is we are so bodily conscious, not only of our own body, but also the expansion and extension of the body also. If something tampers our car, it will directly hurt our heart. Somebody is scratching the car. The car is not me. Car is totally different from me. It is so gross. But still, if someone has scratched my car, I'm so hurt, as if someone had directly scratched me or someone has directly hurt me. So much is our, consciousness fixed in the material extensions of the body. So children, they are the, extension of the self, extension of our own body, our father's body. Therefore, he became so attached to the son, constantly thinking about his welfare, just like Bharat did for the deer in the past life. His father is doing for him. Kintu mrityur vismriti nahi. But death will not forget. We will forget about death. But death will not forget that, oh, I have to go and go to him. No, death does his duty on time, isn't it? Death does the duty on time. We may not be on time to any of our duties, but death is very, very punctual. He comes on time. So, but death is not forgetful of him, which means that मृत्यु जथा काले आगमन करिया ब्राह्मण के ग्रास करिया. So at the appropriate time, time has come punctually without any delay, and the death has finished the Brahman. Means the father is now no more. Shri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes in the commentary, स्वतनुजे आत्मनि आत्मस्वरूप अर्थात निज प्राण होइतेउ अधिक प्रिय निज पुत्र भरतेर प्रति ए अर्थ. For the father and the mother, the child is more than their own life. You see, mother and father, they always try to protect the child from all kinds of dangers, for his or her welfare. Always, the parents are trying for it, and they love their children more than they love themselves. This is a regular, this is not particular in India or in America or in some other place. It is common everywhere that parents love their children more than they love themselves. So here the Brahmana was also no different to this particular principle. He was loving Bharat more than he loved his own self. औपकुर्वाण कर्माणि उपकुर्वाणक बोलिते जे ब्रह्मचारी वेद पाठेर पर पितृगृहे गमन पूर्वक गार्हस्थ्य धर्म अवलंबन करे ताहार जे सकल कर्म ताहा पुत्रेर अनादृत हইলেও সেই পুত্রকে শিক্ষাদান করিয়া পিতার মনোবাঞ্ছা পূর্ণ হইল না. So now Bharat was not a person who could be sent to Gurukula ashram. Previously, for the 12 years, Guru Maharaj used to say 12 years up to the child is 12, where he would learn from Guru. And after that, means after he becomes, like slightly learned, maybe 7 years or so, he is sent to Gurukula ashram, and then for 12 years he is trained in Gurukula ashram. For 12 years he is given training, and after that, they would come back to the father's house. For 12 years they would be away. They would come to the house, and then they enter into the समनुष्ठेन इत्यादि अर्थात पितार निकट होइते ही पुत्रे शिक्षा ग्रहण करा कर्तव्य. उपसंहृत पिता मृत होइलेन. And he thought that it is the duty of the father to give these instructions, therefore I will teach him. Thinking like this, he spent all of his life, and ultimately death had come. In Tathya, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, Naishtika o Upakurvan Vede Brahmachari Dui Prakar. Brahmacharis are of two types. One is a Naishtika Brahmachari, and other is Upakurvana Brahmachari. Naishtika and Upakurvana. Jahara yavat जीवन गुरु गृहे थाकिया वेद अध्ययन गुरु सेवा प्रभृति व्रताचरण कुरिया थाकेन ताहारा नैष्टिक ब्रह्मचारी. And who are Naishtik Brahmacharis? Those who spend their whole life, entire life, in Gurukula, in the house of Guru, who spend their entire lifetime in serving Guru and observing vows, penances, etc. They are interested only in those activities that are in connection to the transcendence, and they don't enter into a marital life. They are called Naishtika Brahmachari. They are they're called as Naishtika Brahmachari. Naishtika means firmly fixed, very firmly fixed. Upakurvana Brahmachari Gan Naishtika Ganer Nai Yavat Jivan Guru Grihe Avasthan Kurenna. And the second type of Brahmacharis are called Upakurvana Brahmacharis. They don't stay their entire life in Gurukula ashram. They don't stay the entire lifetime in the Guru's place. Tahara Guru Radeshe Samavartan Kurya Grihasthahan. By taking the order of Guru after performing brahmacharya, means after staying in the Gurukula ashram, they have to take permission from Guru that, my dear Gurudev, I am not able to control my senses as I am supposed to do. Therefore, I have a desire to enter into the family life, married life. Please give your permission. And Guru also, by seeing the eligibility of the student, because by seeing the student, the Guru will understand that he can stay as a brahmachari, he cannot stay as a brahmachari, and therefore he would, Guru would say personally that you can go. So these are called Upakurvana brahmacharis. So Naistik brahmacharis and Upakurvana brahmacharis. This is according to Manu Samhita, second chapter, verse number 243. Manu Samhita says this, that there are Naistik brahmacharis and Upakurvana brahmacharis. But brahmacharya, tapasa, brahmacharyena, samena cha, damena cha. One has to perform brahmacharya, shamena cha, damena cha, by complete hold over one's inner and outer sense organs. One should have control over kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Means lust, greed, envy, anger, etc. One should have the control over inner and outer sense organs. One should also have control over these different enemies. Then that is called brahmacharya. But according to Bhagavad Dharma, brahmacharya means a person who is one pointedly serving Sri Guru is a brahmachari. Actually, not that one is trying to control the sense organs. Our Guru Maharaj used to give the example of Saubhari Rishi. Saubhari Rishi, who had control over all his sense organs. He sat in the water in the meditation of the Lord, but he saw the fishes and he got the desire for lust. His lusty desires, arose, and he married the Mandata's children, daughters. 50 he married. So this control of the sense organs is artificial. Artificial means it is not firmly fixed at a proper place. Vishwamitra also could not maintain his brahmacharya by seeing Menaka. So simply by staying not married, unmarried is not brahmacharya. Or simply having control over the sense organs is not brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means those who follow Bhagavad Dharma, they are called brahmacharis. They may be householders. They might have entered into household life. They are married. But if their vrata, their vow is to please the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and Guru, they are also called brahmacharis. Because according to Manu Samhita, according to the scriptures, even those who married, they associate with the woman, with their wife, only to beget children. They are also brahmacharis. They are not associating with their wife unnecessarily to fulfill their sense desires. They are associating only to beget child. That is also brahmacharya. So brahmacharya definition is that those who have one pointedly submitted to Bhagavad Dharma, they are brahmacharis. So here there are two, Naishtika and Upakurvana. Naishtika means those who don't get married, and Upakurvana means they are brahmacharis and they take seek permission from Guru and they enter into family life. So here, Upakurvana is used in the verse. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and also Prabhupada says that Upakurvana means his father wanted to train him so that he enters into a married life. Otherwise, who will give daughter to a married fool person, to a foolish dumb person? Nobody will give daughter. Therefore, he wanted to educate him so that he could get a good wife and he can lead his family life. Atha, and then but ultimately his father died. Yata यवीयसी द्विजसती स्वगर्भजातं मिथुनं सपत्या उपन्यस्य स्वयमनुसंस्थया पतिलोकमगात्। अनंतर ब्राह्मणेर परलोक प्राप्तिर पर ब्राह्मणेर पतिव्रता कनिष्ठा पत्नी स्वीय गर्भसंभूत कन्या व पुत्र के सपत्नीर हस्ते न्यस्त करिया सह मरण द्वारा पतिलोके गमन करिया. So after the Brahmana died, the second wife of the Brahmana, who is the mother of daughter and Bharat, she gave the responsibility of Bharat and her and his brother and his sister to the other wife of the Brahmana, and she also entered into the fire to finish herself. Means she, died along with the husband, and the responsibility of the son and the daughter is given to the elder Brahmani, the elder wife of the Brahmana. पितुर्यपरते भ्रातर एनम अतत् प्रभाव विदम्रयाम विद्यायामेव पर्यवसित मतयो न परविद्यायां जडमतिरिति भ्रातुर अनुशासनं निर्बंधान्य वृत्सन. पितार परलोक प्राप्तिर पर भरतेर भ्रातृवर्ग 9 जन वैमात्रेर भ्राता भरत के जड़मति बोलिया स्थिर करिया भ्राता भरतेर शिक्षादि विषये पितार जे महत आग्रह छिलो ताहा हইতে निवृत्त हইয়া. After the father and mother both are dead, now he is under the care of his stepmother and the step brothers, the brothers who were born after the other wife of the Brahmana. So these 9 other brothers, they saw Bharat to be a dull fellow, a foolish fellow, and they did not think that he should be given any further education. The father has attachment. Therefore, the father was repeatedly, even though Bharat was not able to learn, he was trying to repeatedly educate him so that he turns out to be good, well educated in the society. But the brothers did not put any effort. And he is a foolish fellow. There is no point in wasting our time on him. Let him, be like what he is. Bharater भ्रातृगणेर मति ऋक् साम और यजुर्वेद प्रतिपाद्य कर्मकांडे आसक्त छिलो. These brothers of Bharat, they were very much attached to the Vedic activities, karmakanda activities, the fruitive activities that are mentioned in the Vedas, Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Yajur Veda. Particularly to these 3 Vedas, they were attached. And they were performing only karmakanda activities. Those are mentioned in the Vedas. Tahader buddhi bhagavad bhakti lakshana paravidyai pravishta hoinai. And their mind, their consciousness was not, involved in paravidya, in the superior learning, in the transcendental learning. They were very expert in their material duties, in the fruitive activities as mentioned in the scriptures. But when it comes to spiritual learning, when it comes to the knowledge of the self and above, they had no entry into that field at all. Sutrang tahara bharater prabhav atmaramatva janite parlena. Therefore, they could not understand the position of Bharat because they were not educated in the spiritual plane, or rather, they had no realization of the self and transcendence. They were only performing fruitive activities. They couldn't understand the platform where Bharat belonged to. So, to answer your question yesterday, yes, that is rightly said here by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, they are not learned spiritually. They might have got all the material good qualities, but yasyasti bhagavati bhakti, no, what is that verse? Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarvai guna tatra samasate sura. A person who has got one pointed devotion to Krishna, Vishnu, Supreme Lord, sarvai guna tatta samasate sura, all the good qualities, noble qualities are present in him. Because devotion is the topmost quality. A person who has devotion to Supreme Lord, all the other qualities will automatically come in him. But harava abhaktasya kuto mahadgunat manorathena asadhavato bahi. But if a person is abhakta, harava abhakta, the person is not a devotee of Hari, kuto mahadgunat, what good qualities he has got? He might have got material good qualities. A person who is a non-devotee, he might have got all material good qualities. But harava abhakta, he is not a devotee of God, Supreme Lord. Therefore, what good qualities he has got? Anything good or bad is defined by the motivation behind it. Manorathena asadhavato vahi. Why it is not good quality? Even though one is noble, expert, very simple and charitable, and you can say merciful, all these qualities are there in a person, but he is not a devotee. You sometimes see that the devotees are not as merciful as non-devotees. And non-devotees are very, very merciful, very caring, but devotees are not so. We see like that. But here it is told, Harava abhaktasya kuto mahadgunat. If one is a not devotee of Lord, what good qualities has he got? Manorathena asadhavato vai. Because they are running towards asat, temporary, by sitting in the heart of their mind, in the chariot of their mind. The mind, which is, driven by 5 horses, means 5 sense organs. In that particular chariot made out of the mind, a living entity who is not a devotee of God is sitting and running towards asat, temporary. So when a person is sitting in a chariot which has 5 horses and none of them are, and each one of them is pulling in their own direction, what will happen? Disbalance, chaos, disbalance, fall down. So here it is told he might have got all good qualities, but he is committing a basic blunder, mistake. That is, he is not utilizing any of these qualities towards transcendence. They are only going to matter. The more they go into matter, the more it is going to be useless. Isn't it? In our language, there is a saying. I won't say it in my language, but I just explain the meaning of it. There's a nice scented, liquid. If you are putting that scented liquid in ash, is there any use of it? Ash? If you put a very, aromatic, what do you call, liquid in ash, useless, finished. That aromatic liquid, when it is utilized for some other good purpose, let's say we are applying to our own body, then yes, it has some sense. So all the good qualities, they are being, sent or dotated to something which is inauspicious, temporary, and useless. Therefore, materially being good is not a great qualification. One may not be, a devotee may not be materially good, but he is submitted to Supreme Lord. He is better.
But isn't it that if someone is submitted to the Lord, they'll have these good qualities?
Yes, they will automatically have.
So if someone's a devotee doesn't have these qualities, does that mean he's a devotee?
He has submitted, and all the good qualities will come automatically. Now the journey has begun. So he is trying to become a devotee. As much he will submit, so much he will be blessed with those qualities. So on the path, they are on the path, therefore they will get. But those who have good qualities, but they are running towards temporary things, whatever so-called good qualities they have, they are also going useless.
But in the case of this Jada Bharat, his father was very charitable, very noble, religious. The 9 sons.
He had, because he had affection to the child.
No, but
they had, yes, they had good qualities. All the good qualities were there, noble qualities were there.
Why were they so cruel to their brother?
That's what, because they have not understood the position of Bharat.
No, they're looking at him as deaf and dumb. They didn't have any compassion for him.
No.
No compassion.
No compassion, because he is materially dumb. There is no point in giving him anything. Where do you invest your money?
But they're thinking they are in
Where?
the position as he.
Yes. Where you invest your money? Where you find some return.
But why they're making him as a scarecrow and giving him rice eaten by the worms? That's so cruel.
That we will come later.
So don't you think that's a cruel activity?
It is.
If they don't have a soft heart, they are not devotees.
They had the
Devotees, only devotees, in my experience.
you see, when you see a person is a disturbance in your family and society, like a mother and father, they have attachment. The children or the brothers and sisters, they will not have. They will, but they will not have like mother and father. They cannot tolerate all the activities of their brothers, like mothers and fathers can do. They cannot tolerate everything. They want to somehow send him out of the place. This fellow is a big disturbance in the house. Because of him, everyone is telling that your brother is like this, your brother is like this, isn't it? So that's a disturbance. So somehow get him out of the place. So materially good, not necessarily good qualification.
And whatever good quality they have, by not utilizing it for the Lord, they'll also lose that.
Yes. Okay, we will stop here and then continue. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatattvatmak Shri Gaura Hari Vijay Paramaraditam Patita Pavana Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Leela Pravishthom Vishnupadmam Stotra Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jagat Guru Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय सपरिकर श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्री राधा गोविंद श्री राधा गोपीनाथ जीव की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय श्री कृष्ण द्वैपायन वेद व्यास महामुनि की जय जय श्री श्री जड़ भरत की जय जय श्री भागवत श्रवणकारी भक्त वृंद की जय श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे।